All right. This is so much fun. Okay, but so let's move right along and let's get into this topic more. So, divine boundaries. Oh, I know. Last week I went straight into my board drawing a picture and I skipped the manifesto. So I want to read the manifesto here. So the manifesto, that's where I have lots of ideas for things to talk about on any one topic. But Spirit has given me these topics ahead, a few weeks ahead, because I know this is what I'm going to go through as a human being too. You never want to have a sense of, I'm only one role and I'm not other roles. Have a sense of like you're an entire community, entire universe within yourself. So yeah, I love to play the teacher, but I also want to remember I'm the student too, and there's a part of me that needs to hear things. So long story short, my manifesto is where, a couple days ahead of the meeting, I just okay, my soul, my head is spinning with so many things to say. Where do I really want to go with this? And I get into a flow and I write a few paragraphs. So this is to help guide the meeting. Just see what you resonate with. See what works for you. Divine boundaries. How to let the universe protect you. Setting healthy boundaries that are based on personal values, that's vital to become a happy, fulfilled individual. Do not let other people define what you can and can't be. Discover for yourself which lifestyle choices help you to grow and thrive. Now, sadly, many folks feel unsafe to be authentic, to be genuine, due to some childhood trauma, usually. So they grow into being embattled adults, always in a battle mode, who think having boundaries means defending against attackers. Well, just knowing what we're against in life doesn't really tell us what we're for. So boundaries that are based on defenses, they remain oppositional and unsupportive in the long run. The idea of divine natural boundaries, that may seem fantastic or impossible at first. What? The universe will keep me safe to thrive in my own lifestyle of loving choices and beliefs? The universe will pay me just to be me? Yes, it wants to. Join us this Sunday, April 13, 2025, for a free, potentially life-changing talk on your own divine creator authority to release the past and create a fabulous new future to benefit everything. What? Everything? Everyone wins? Yes, of course. The spiritual solution is inclusive for everyone to become happier. The spiritual solution is for all, to become happier, healthier, wealthier than ever before. And notice that wealth includes money, and it includes so much more. So a lot of society is stuck on money as being the only thing that gives you power and wealth. No, wealth is whatever you need for a wonderful life. Your birthright, your natural, divine functioning way of being is to have a wealth of opportunities, resources, health, energy, creativity, friends, supportive, fun relationships. Of course, fun, because fun is a major goal for all living things. If you're playful and grateful with your life, then more beings will want to help you with your life. You want to join in the fun. My cat just wandered in. She wants to join in the fun. Come here, kitty. Maybe I'll hold her up at some point. So anyway, does this sound escapist or insensitive in today's chaotic, dangerous world? The bad guys are out there. They're going to get me. I can't just let down my guard and have fun. Well, if you feel that way, then now is the perfect time to learn better boundary skills. You must respect and release that which doesn't serve true happiness for you. Insecure, self-unaware people, they're threatening each other along the lines of opposite subcultures. These petty tribal wars happening in such a modern, advanced civilization. Who'd have thought that civilization could fall apart over arguments over, sort of like which end to crack your egg? that was in Lilliput, a famous satire from Jonathan Swift. Anyway, but the idea of arguing over petty things, the culture wars today, that's what's going to bring down the world. That's what's going to distract people while the world needs help to survive, healing in the ecosystem. So, what's more, those attacked feelings, they spread by psychological projection until everywhere is a struggle to survive. Society feeds the conflict with language for praising the fighters, the soldiers, the competitors. You notice that, how society is always saying messages like, got to win the battle, stop the enemy, and oxymorons like spiritual warriors and prayer warriors. You know, those aren't boundaries, okay? Those are toxic codependencies that keep us in endless conflict. So with that kind of attitude toward boundaries, no wonder the world is a mess with these culture wars that keep us upset and blaming, while our own defensive reactions internalize the abuse. Our minds are continually offending us with images of the worst things that could happen that we must prevent. We get used to it until it becomes normal to give up on our personal dreams and focus on controlling the world around us. Maybe someday I'll get to do all my happy things, but first I got to fix the world and make it safe. Well, it's a measure of how threatened so many people feel today, to see how oppositional and violent they become over different belief systems, ideologies, and lifestyle choices. Remember, I said the world is full of different ecosystems. There are lots of ideologies, cultures that you just don't belong in. That's okay. We can live and let live. But those who don't know how to stop the attacking thoughts in their head will resort to attacking others who seem to have those kind of thoughts that are attacking them. And that is the projection. The internal conflict came first, and then the external conflict grows from there. As the ancient rabbi said, we see the world not as it is, but as we are. And he was actually talking about dreams. But since reality is a waking dream, that quote applies more generally. So still, don't worry, be happy. We can see the old failed paradigms clearly now to make new, deeper choices that will refresh reality itself. So be optimistic, don't be worried. Expect, ask for, and receive new, better solutions, so the living, loving universe can provide the prospering life you deserve. You are a vital, unique, functioning part of existence. Just as you would have every organ and cell of your body be safe, healthy, and nourished to do its job well, so too the universe has a place for you to thrive with everything you need to be and do your best. You have precious love to give in the form of your own fun personality and talents. Everyone has a gift to receive and share. So with 8 billion people on the planet today, that's a lot of presents to open. For this meetup, think about your best life plans and desires. How have you felt unsupported or unable to do what you would love to do? Would you maybe benefit from simply having better boundaries to focus on what you really prefer? After check-ins to share and relate, we'll see how you create your own reality for the chance to be happy and to help others find happiness too. Every consciousness has its own copy of the entire universe, with the potential to activate or deactivate every option. This is the idea of we all have every possibility within ourselves. We have to learn how to choose what kind of person we want to be. So there are tons of lifestyle choices that aren't good for you. You just need to evaluate and choose which choices work for you from your own free will. We will see how belief systems work to provide negative blockages or positive ideals, and how reality mirrors your beliefs back to you by the people and situations that you meet. How you respond to the world will define your future. Get that? How you respond is what matters, not what's out there. It's your response to it that makes all the difference. So I will share the 7-step value separation exercise that my higher self taught me to set healthy boundaries, and it works. And we'll conclude with a guided meditation to find and fuel your own destiny. Okay, so that was my manifesto, and as I feel a little lightheaded and buzzy when I read it. And I'd love to show you my cat too. So let me pause for a moment. If anybody wants to make a quick comment or question, and let me grab my cat so you can see. Come here, kitty. People want to see you. Here she is, by the way.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, hey.
That's a cute kitty. It's interesting when you were talking about joy, because one of the things they say for just living in a difficult let's just say a difficult culture of some sort, they don't want you to have joy. And that's like, joy is part of it. So some of the things that people are doing are like dance party instead of calling it a protest, or, and actually having fun and doing stuff like, and even people in Ukraine, I just think this is helpful to hear. They said, we go out to dinner and enjoy a good meal, and we just enjoy every second of it. We don't put off joy, like, you know what I mean? It's not sugarcoating things.
Thank you. That's really important. Yeah, and what's happening there is that, like you said, it's not about sugarcoating or denying reality. There's a lot of tough stuff going on in my life. Because there's a lot of tough stuff going on, all the more reason to stand by my values, to practice my values, to remind myself what I really stand for is love. What I really believe in is the enjoyment. What I really want is the beauty and the fun. I need to set aside time to make sure that I create that I participate in that we need to push more of our values. Though that's another example of real boundaries, is when you practice your values, not when you fight and oppose somebody else who's doing something you don't like. There may be some of that where you need to push back on things and speak your truth, like, that's not right for me. But what is right for me, I need to practice. So every day, set aside some time. Remind yourself, I need some fun time. This is not avoidance time. This is not escapist time. This is not like, oh, I sat down to pay the bills and I really just want to run outside or, eat some ice cream or whatever. That might be escapist. But no, let there be a natural flow where you realize at some point in your day, like, hey, now would be a really good time to do something fun, something I really enjoy. Let the universe provide for you moments to really relax and savor the goodness, to refresh yourself, to remind yourself who you really are. That's the real boundaries, bringing up who you really are. Remember, the only real protection you have in life is to be more of who you really are. So yeah, I love that idea of like, this isn't just a protest. This is a party. We're here to meet the community that has certain values and beliefs that, yeah, we may need to speak up against another group to let them know, not so much to overwhelm and crush the opposition, but to let them know we're here too. Okay, you're not the only way to live. You need to be aware that there are other ways to exist. Everybody needs to know that. A lot of protests aren't so much for controlling and overpowering the opposition. It's for speaking up and letting the world know there are other ways to be. We don't have to be this way. People need to see that. That is a true spiritual gift, when you can live who you are and just show yourself safely and genuinely, authentically, just to let other people know there are options. There are more ways to live. And then people can get out of their stuck places. Thank you. That was a great point to make. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go forward with folks who are new here. You get to see my Carl's art, stick figures. I just go with stick figures. So a little map of the universe here. A map of the universe. Wow, that's bold. Okay, yeah. So keep it simple. Here's a stick figure. Here's you on the earth. Okay, this is the earth. We love the earth. And up here, picture the source, the background, wisdom, love, intelligence of the universe. And your higher self, your soul, a part of you is in there. So that's your soul. That's, put an S on it for super soul solutions. And the idea is that everyone has their own soul. And so the source, this big circle of circles, is networking all the souls. So you don't worry about, where does everyone belong? What do I need to tell people to do? Let the universe work. It's like a part of the body doesn't try to tell other parts of the body what to do. Your liver doesn't understand how your toes work at all. It doesn't need to. Like, let the body have a greater wisdom, intelligence, a design. Let there be a divine design where you belong. So let the universe, let the source be networking people as needed. The Byron Katie quote that I love, like, there are three kinds of business: my business, your business, and God's business. Well, God's business is the source networking all the souls. And to be clear, like, a lot of those beings who have the same soul as you, those are other selves, other lifetimes. even within this lifetime, your child self, your adolescent self, your self last year, those are other selves. And people have such segregated thoughts about time. They think like, oh, well, as long as I remember something, then it's just me. That's the way I was last year or when I was a kid. But, I'm not that anymore. But then other lifetimes I don't even remember, so they don't even exist. It's like, no, all the parts of your soul always exist. You have an eternal inner child that's always existing in its own world, in its own reality. People need to get used to the idea that time is just a story. It's a narrative we create, that actually everything exists all at once, all possibilities in this vast multiverse. And this is physics, okay? Physicists are still trying to deal with the fact that Einstein revealed in 1905 with special relativity, time is a part of space, and it's all some kind of illusion. There are a lot of false quotes attributed to Einstein, but he really did say, time and space are not conditions by which we live, they are modes by which we think. So Einstein himself was acknowledging like somehow time and space, all of this stuff, that's just how we think about what's really here, which is somehow eternal and infinite. Gets very mystical very quickly. That's why modern physics has been so fun for so many people. You can sense there's a lot of spirituality and mysticism coming through. Don't fudge it though, don't go too quickly to say like quantum mechanics proves spirituality. Well, no, but it's going in that direction for sure. Anyway, so I've got a map here. Now, just be clear, maps, any kind of use of time and space, like I've separated things, it's not really separate though, okay? Your soul is actually the entire source in your form, in your flavor. You are the entire universe in your personality. You are the entire universe expressing itself as you. You are the universe. It's just that you're going to do it your way. I did it my way. So you're doing the universe your way. And that this isn't just up here, it's around you, it's within you, it's always here now. Okay, so any spiritual concept of like, I have to please God so that God takes me back to heaven where God is, or that God will come down here and do something for me. It's like, and God's already here. It's more of a state of mind, a state of loving that I need to tune into. When I think and feel the most loving thoughts, I will be in tune with God, who's always here. God is great spirit, creator, and I will know the next best thing to do. So it's really, life is a journey of consciousness. We are tuning into different positions of consciousness, different positions of awareness, to think and feel from that position. So your goal is sometimes you align yourself more with the source and your higher self and your soul, and you will think and feel with the mind of source. And you'll have these amazing, just uniting the world, just bridging all the differences. Just, oh my God, I can see how it all fits together, and it's a beautiful creation. And then you need to come back to, where you are here right now. It's like, okay, how can I take the amazing love and perspective of the entire universe and source and fit that into little old me right here? I need to be the universe in my form. Well, so that's where you let yourself be guided by your higher self. What's the next wonderful, loving thing you can do? And as I was saying, the right thing for you to do is something that's well within your means. Life is much more of a ritual. It's not about the impact of having enough money, enough power, enough whatever to do something really big that everyone will see, make a big splash. No, it's about the resonance, about the tuning into the divine principles. You want to do something with such a clarity and purity that the love is there and it just rings like a bell. It resonates, and everyone else who is on that wavelength, on that frequency, will find you and tune in. Like, oh, you're doing something wonderful. Let's join in. Let's join forces. So that's how you rapidly create the communities where you belong. So life is about it being a ritual. You find the things that represent your principles, your divine energies, well within your means. I just do a little thing that speaks for who you really are. So it's interesting, voting is a very popular thing in governments these days. Even dictators like to have votes because it says to them, says to everybody, see, everybody approves of me. So many times when people go to vote, they think, oh, my vote is just one vote. It has no power. It has no meaning. It's like, no, it has total meaning. It is your vote in your universe. You are choosing what kind of leader you believe in. And again, I'm not saying I'm going to totally follow that person to the ends of the earth. It's just, this is the direction I believe in. So let everything you do throughout the day express your principles, your values. And whenever you have a thought that comes up that says, well, that's not good enough, that's not big enough, that's not powerful enough, that doesn't change the world. And then you can start getting afraid, thinking like, oh my God, I could do everything I want to do, and it still makes no difference. Like, I sort the recycling, and then I read a report that really they just throw it all in the trash anyway. It's like, don't worry about what other people are doing wrong. Make sure what you're doing is right for your values and principles. And that's how you stay in alignment with your source, with your soul. And your soul I see as a sort of general energy of the love of the form of you, the kind of love you are. That's individuation, that you have a way of loving that is your particular personality, your style, your panache. So you focus on your way of loving, your way of contributing to every situation. That's going to tune you into your form of the source. So everyone has their own form of the source. Your soul is just this embracing kind of feminine energy of like, you're home, we love you, you're always good enough, you're always valuable. And then your higher self, your soul provides this higher being who then guides you. It's more relatable, more telling you like, every step of the way what to do. So let's fill in more of this, because originally the animals, and when you were a human animal, we're talking about, thousands of or millennia ago, there are no more human animals, but you can touch into your animal nature when you react, right? And that's when people get really critical of humanity. It's like, look how reactive people are. That's the animal nature. Well, it's not the animal nature to, be nefarious and scheming and think how to control the world and destroy the world. Animals don't do that. That's actually a survival nature of human beings who have outgrown just their animal nature. So just animal nature is following your instincts, your wave of energy, your guidance from your soul. And the animals don't really have a sense of a higher self. Like if you work with totem animals, in different native indigenous shamanic traditions, you don't talk about a bear, you talk about bear. You talk about the intelligence, the love, the lesson, the life lesson of a certain species. So animals have sort of a group soul. So there's sort of a totem universal form of that animal and what lessons you can get from it. But there's no totem universal human now, except unless you want to talk about like a divine being, like a transcendent being like Jesus or somebody Buddha, showed to us. But really, being human is about being an individual. So it's no longer enough to just survive on instincts. You'll get nasty in ways that even animals don't do. You want to be willing to step out of yourself. You manage your human emotions enough that you're still within your principles. This is key. When I grew up, I thought I saw so many bad examples of anger. Anger drives wars. Anger drives people saying mean things to each other. Anger is like the football players at my high school. They want to bash each other. Just a lot of violence. And I decided, well, so action, that just results in violence. So I kind of stepped away I became more of a passive idealistic person, which is not what I want to do. I want to be a whole person. I just want to be aware of like which ways of doing things are not my way of doing things. So I needed to manage my anger without thinking like, oh, if I'm angry, I have to be a violent, mean, destructive person. No, you can manage any emotion in a safe, private space. I recommended the 20-minute emotion meditations. I talk about that in other places more, but basically set a timer for 20 minutes. Feel your feelings. Think your thoughts. Go ahead. Explore your ideas, your images, your memories within a safe space. I'm not going to vent this on other people. That's beautiful. Your intentions to make everything sacred, to have a good use for everything, even like the hardest emotions, That intention puts you on the path, on the alignment with your soul, with your higher self, because your soul and higher self have a positive way for you to handle every situation in your life. Even if it's a bad thing for you, you will appreciate it as an example of what not to do and turn around with more clarity to what you do value, what you really are. So the point is that feel your feelings in the human experience enough that you can then step out. So at the end of 20 minutes in the 20-minute emotion meditations, the timer goes off, step back and say, good job, very brave of you, human being, to feel those feelings. And now let's do something nice. Let's take a walk. Something well within your means. Take a walk, enjoy a healthy snack, sing a song, hug a pet, a tree, whatever. And you're asserting your preference for a loving, happy, fun direction. Always, when you have a chance, assert your preference that I wanted life to be fun, a joy, an amazing wonder of creation. And when you do that, when you be the best person you can be, honest with your emotions, and the best spiritual being you can be, this is the spiritual consciousness, stepping back, saying like, okay, here's the best thing I can think of to do in this situation, your higher self will meet you from your soul. And what happens when you do those emotion meditations later in the day, you can get these aha moments of like, oh, wow, I just realized I don't have to stay stuck on seeking approval from that person who hates me. Like, I could just approve of myself and like move on to other places. That's your higher self. You are aligning when you feel your human feelings and then step back and do your best to care for yourself. You're asserting that I have loving values I'm aligned with, I'm tuning into, I'm resonating with my soul and the source that created life to be fun. And then your higher self will be whispering in your ear, guiding you. What's the next good thing to change in your life? How can your life work? And on the spiritual path, it can be fuzzy and nebulous for a while, and you can have lots of doubts, right? The doubts are just the old negative beliefs coming up for you to think like, oh, all the progress I've made, all the good stuff, well, should I doubt that? Should I go back to an old negative belief that life is hard and nobody cares about me and there's no God? And like, no, I don't want to go back to that. Let's keep going forward. So every time stuff comes up that's unpleasant, you know, your doubts, your fears, your cynicism, the old hurts, the old defenses, just let that be an opportunity to feel it enough to heal it, and then let your higher self guide you to more of the changes you can make to keep aligning with the source. So there's a sense of boundaries there. And so let me fill this in with, so when you become a spiritual consciousness, not just following your instincts, you have some sense of survival instincts, but you don't want to get nasty about it. So you step back and you see that life has more detail to it. This is where you become more conscious. And so more detail. A really great system is the 4 levels I've been talking about, which are very archetypal. So we can think about this in human terms, but it's deeper. All living beings can think about it in these terms. But your physical body, your incarnational vehicle that you're trying to take care of, your avatar, your character in the game, your emotions, the energy of what situations make you feel, you know. And you don't want to like chase after like, okay, I just want the happy times, so I need the happy situations. It's not the situations that make you feel, it's the feelings that come up in response to situations. Because you know that something that made you happier last year, or, you know, when you were a kid, you know, when I was a kid, I loved candy. That always made me happy. So am I always going to eat candy when I'm unhappy? Like, no, it's not always going to work anymore. You're going for the energy. You're going for the principles of how life works. The happy times just lead you more into what works. So you tune into more of your solutions with your higher self. So physical body, your emotional reactions, your energy, and then your mental level. This is the check-in I was saying. The mental level, that's where you have thoughts. You can reason more about what beliefs do I have. If I'm always like seeking the approval of, you know, somebody who's always been mean to me and that makes me feel really bad, step back and what am I thinking? Am I thinking like I'm a bad person like they said? No, maybe that's just a false belief. I need to have a little more step back, a little more awareness of like, oh, they're just beliefs. They're beliefs that will make me miserable. Like, If I believe I'm a loser, like the mean people told me, that's going to make me miserable. I won't be able to function. I'm going to be really upset and be dysfunctional. But if I say like, aha, that was a really great example of a false belief that those people gave me. Yeah, I felt really bad at first, but then I cared about myself and I stepped back and I realized like, oh, I could change those beliefs. See, this is when you start getting empowered. When you realize like every life situation, no matter how bad it is, if you use it as an example of a false belief that you can change and you can tune into your source who will give you more real, true beliefs, you realize like, I determine my life experience. So it's not the outside world that determines whether I'm happy. It's my inner world being on track with love and my growth with my higher self and my soul. That's what keeps me changing the false negative beliefs to positive. And every one of us has a pile of false negative beliefs to work through and a pile of really positive, wonderful beliefs that let the truth through. It's fine to run on beliefs. Beliefs aren't false. Beliefs can be wonderful. They let the light through. They become more like transparent glass rather than like blockages that block the light and make shadows. You're doing that shadow work, right? So the mental level is where you figure out which beliefs you need to change. And the spiritual level is however much you can tune into your soul and your higher self. So even as a human being on earth, in a limited body, in a limited life, you can have some of all of these levels. And this is what you need to work with. And the sense you want to have is of a turnaround. So there's a sense here of an incarnational cycle. I talk about this more at length in other videos. It's a whole topic in itself. But the idea of a process. I'll give my arm a rest and back up a little bit. What we want to have is a sense of the dualities that work together in life, okay? Conflict is based on saying things don't belong, things can't work together. No way, no way, this has to be obliterated. That's negativity, and that's fundamentally powerless. Negativity is not just about the mean people. Deeper than meanness is negativity is about powerlessness, saying that you aren't a total creator being who can't find a way to make use of everything. So you think about it, it's like, yeah, mean people suck. Mean people, that's negative, right? Well, sure, people who don't care about other people's feelings, just trashing the environment, whatever, trying to maximize their wealth, whatever. Yeah, that's one form of negativity. But another form of negativity is all of the victims. All of the victims who play along with that bully. We're not blaming the victims here, but we're also not blaming the bully. We're saying that false negative beliefs kept everyone powerless. So that the victims are the people who said, well, I don't want to be a mean person, but I'm powerless, so what am I going to do? I guess I just have to be a victim of the bullies. And the bullies are the people who said, well, I'm powerless, but if I be a bully, I can use force and violence to scare people to do some stuff for me. Everybody's powerless. You want to get to a deeper level, a sense of having compassion. All these people who are suffering and spreading the suffering, whether they're the bullies or the victims, underneath is powerlessness. And the powerlessness, at a deep level, it's based on people think they don't have their own life, their own universe.
But you know what, Carl? The thing that gets me, though, is that there are people who are victims, who are the ones being bullied, and they're not doing negative, awful things to other people. And I understand what you're saying about them being negative on both sides. But the people who are the bullies are doing negative, hurtful things to people. So they're both dealing with hurt, and they're both dealing with powerlessness. But one is choosing to be kind and not bother people, and the other person, the bully, is choosing to do detrimental things. So I have a hard time, and I'm so much trying to learn from you. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that it just was reaching a boiling point and you needed to say something, and that's cool. I don't want to generally be interrupted when I'm in my flow here, but that's cool. What you said fits into what we're saying here. Exactly. This is part of the compassion, to realize that some people are further gone in that negative direction. There is a magnitude, a potency, a scale to things, so that, yeah, a person they're just a sweet little victim, like a little kid, right? It's like your sympathy goes to the abused child in an abusive family. It's much harder to feel compassion and love and understanding for the abusive parents. Like, come on, what's wrong with you monsters? It's just a little kid. Why can't you treat it nicely? And then you start realizing, like, oh God, right, they were abused children. When they were little, they're just acting out the only way they thought that life worked. They're just like in a survival mode of like, okay, now that I'm the big person and this kid is driving me crazy, I need to like shut them up. I mean, so it is a stretch. It is harder to love and feel compassion for people who are obviously further in that direction of meanness, of less love. But that's the level we want to get to. And we can't really fake it. Okay, this is where our emotional reactions come up. If you feel a reaction of like, okay, enough of this theory, I am just so mad, or I'm so hurt, I'm so scared, do the emotion meditation. Your intense feelings matter. We're not trying to paper this over here. We're just saying, like, get to the bottom of those feelings. That's when you will find the false beliefs that have been ruining your life. And your higher self is right there with the alternative, saying, believe more of this, make these changes, you'll be aligned with the source, you will feel better, your life will be going in a positive direction. And then, yes, it will be easier for you to let go of the people who are really obviously like mean, okay? So totally I want to respect the magnitude of things. But so what I wanted to say is, I was saying, and I appreciate, I think I was getting a little theoretical there. The point is that positive energy creates bridges. You want to find a good use, a way to respect, a way to make peace with, a way to have some compassion and some understanding of how things could be. That's positive energy, and more positive energy will come to you in that direction. It's about direction in life. It's never about being perfect. Just get in the good direction, and you can feel good at direction right away. A positive belief starts feeling good right away. A negative belief scares you and then says lies like, well, yeah, it's a bad, scary world, but if you work hard, if you work smart, if you know the right people, you'll make it, you'll be on top of things. So negative beliefs freak you out at first. They cut you off from the source, and then they try to sell you lies. It's like, okay, you'll survive, you'll make it someday if you do all this. So that you anxiously go into negative beliefs. There's a lot of anxiety in the world today. Anxiety is a sign of negative beliefs that are telling you, just hang on, just keep trying to make this work. Just get another, get another $1 billion and then you'll be fine. Get another this and then you'll be fine. That's what a lot of people are running on. Like, if you feel like you're just endlessly chasing this false promise and it's not panning out, you got a negative belief. You got a positive belief when you're like, you know what, that feels good and that could start fixing my life right now. I could start living better today with that attitude. That's probably a true belief that's coming from your higher self. So the point is that there are two states in life, in many ways of saying it, but there's the being and then there's the doing. Okay, the being is the feminine energy. That's like what I was saying about your soul, is just this sort of embracing energy of, you are a good person, it's okay, I love you, it's fine. An ideal mother would be someone that they'll love you no matter what. Mother always loves me, hopefully, okay? But, we're talking about ideals here. Just be willing to make a distinction between the people you met in life and be willing to, what are the good things I got from every situation? There's something good about this person, and then other things about them that were not good for me. Take the good and go to your inner world where that good is really tuning into more of an absolute eternal good. So the divine feminine is about a state of being, imagination, how great the world can be, how wonderful love is. The divine masculine is about actions in the world. What is the next good, helpful thing for you to do, the highest truth to act upon? There is a divine masculine. There is a really good thing for you to do. You don't have to have enough money to change the world, to do all this. Just a little good resonant activity. That is what your soul will guide you to do. So what I wanted to say was a sense of another duality of life is process and system. And I'll try to wrap things up with this, and I got to say that value separation exercise. I want to have a map for this. Okay, the idea is that process, You hear a lot about processing. That's when you do steps. You take steps to work through a situation, okay? Take these steps and you'll express your emotions. Take these steps and you'll figure this out. Take these steps. So it's going through time and space, laying out some pattern, some steps to go through. And by the end of a process, you'll get to a better place. System, on the other hand, is holistic. It's all here right now. A system, like your body is functioning. It's a whole system. Or a car is functioning. It's a whole system. The characteristic of a system is that it takes you somewhere. You can do something with it. It gives you a function. So process is a masculine activity of going through a sequence of steps. And that's where the process of incarnating, and we incarnate every day. You know, people talk about incarnating once, getting born, and then dying. Think of it like every day or every hour. Every time you have to switch gears into a new activity, it's a new process. And you're looking to what's a sense of being guided by my soul, my higher self, to have a complete experience of this activity for me. And there's a turning point in a process where I've done enough of the details. I got a sense of what's right for me. Let's come out of this process with a greater sense of the whole system. The goal of every process is to increase your awareness of the system. The system exists. The universe is alive. It loves you. It works. It's trying to guide you through processes to understand your next step, your next divine masculine step of becoming more of that whole system that works. So let me bring this together. You'll see. And then we go into the meditation. The point is, this idea of a process, it's like coming down into life and being born. So I connect, there are 7 levels here. 7's a magic number, right? The reason why 7's a magic number is because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 is a turning point, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 steps. It's a process of going into spiritual values, which beliefs work for that, how you feel, what kind of action you can take, and then going back up into what feelings, what beliefs can you improve, and back to the spiritual connection. There's a natural process to life. And the idea of a turning point here, this is when you don't want to keep going with a situation. Like you've done enough of something. You've seen enough of a movie. Like I've always felt good about the fact that I don't mind walking out on movies. You know, some of my friends were horrified. Like, you don't like the movie, Carl? You can't walk out. You can't. No, I got enough of this movie. I don't need to see the rest. Have that sense of standing up for yourself. When you've had enough of a situation, it's not your first reaction of running away. It's not your first reaction of fighting it to change it. But when you get a deeper sense of, yeah, I got what I came for. I got my takeaway. I know what I stand for. I know that this is good for me in this way or bad for me in this way. I've got a sense of my takeaway. That's when you turn back up to complete the process and go back to spirit. You don't want to keep going down, down, down into the world. This is where people, they don't know when, they don't know themselves. They don't know when to like step back and say, okay, I need to reflect on how this affects me. They don't even know how it affects them. They don't know their emotions. They react from their emotions, but they don't really feel their emotions. People who don't know themselves, they just keep reacting in the world. And that's when they go down, down, down. And eventually you get a sense of there's like a devil. There's some kind of opponent who's messing up my life because I keep going into places where I don't belong. If you go too far in life, past your natural boundary, see, this is the real boundary, the turning point. What's good for me? I'm not going to keep going into a situation. I'm not going to keep fighting people that I don't even want to be with. I used to do that when I was younger. I would have a sense of like trying to explain and convert people to my point of view. And it'd be like, you know, trying to convert them. It's like, let me just explain this again. You're going to love it. Love it when you get it. And then you'll be my friend. And then I kind of step back now and then and say, like, wait a minute, I don't even want this person to be my friend. Why am I trying to convert them to be my friend? Can't I just let them go, be clear on what I'm looking for in a friend, and go find that in someone else? Exactly. That would be making the turning point. So don't keep going down, down, down into the world. Make a turning point. Value separation process. This is what we want to get to here. So it's got a sense of the turning point, the natural divine boundary, where you know what's right for you. You're going to stay where it's right for you. So just a word on boundaries is like, so the negative boundary is where you wear a lot of armor and you try to keep the bad things out. But for some reason, the bad things are still there. They're always attacking you. That means that you're in the wrong place for you. You're in the wrong energy. You're not functioning as a person who belongs where you belong. Natural divine boundaries, they don't focus on keeping bad people out. They focus on keeping you in. Natural real boundaries are inward facing. They're your principles. They're what I do and don't do in life. They're the kind of person I want to be. I don't worry about other people and trying to make them act a certain way. That would be outward facing boundaries and lots of threats and telling people what to do and not do. I focus on my inward facing boundaries of my principles and who I really am. And I function more and more as me. That's real strength. That's how the universe protects you, to be you. 7 steps of value separation. This is where you've come into a situation, something's not right for you. Or you might use this for value clarification for what is right for you, but focusing on the separation. So first step is you're just going along, you're living your life. You're just living your life and going along, and you have these great ideas and plans, and then something happens. Something doesn't go the way you wanted it to go. Something surprised you. Life happens. Okay, the next step is feel your feelings, your emotions. Do the emotion meditation, as I call it. Like, get to the bottom of how it affects you. That's your second step. When you do that enough, you'll have a clarity of the contrast between what that person seems to stand for and what I stand for. And don't worry about, well, I'm not being fair, that I'm so angry at that person, I think of them as my bad guy, but I know that they're a nice person in other parts of their lives, whatever. No, focus on your stereotypes. This is about your perception, what's upset you. So go ahead, be stereotyping. It's okay. You're not going to attack people with your stereotype. You're going to find more of your values off of that stereotype of what you feel is attacking you. So you're living your life, you run into a situation, you feel your feelings, you clarify, what are they doing? What do they value? It's like, oh, this person seems to value being a bully. This person seems to like being mean to people. This person, you just make a list of all the things that like that bad person is doing that just they seem to like doing that. Like, make it kind of impersonal. There's just a list of like, I can't believe it, but they are a person that seems to like doing that. That's what they value. The turning point is here's what I value. So now make a list of like what I value. I value kindness. I value communication. I value, mutual problem solving. I value community. This is where you list all your values in contrast to all the mean things they were doing. So you can see, like, you're not getting stuck on trying to change other people. You're going to go deeper into changing yourself, refining your values. And now you have more clear on what your values are. Now come back up from your turning point. I'm not going to keep fighting people down here that oppose me. I'm going to get more into me. So now have compassion for why would they be like that? Why are they like that? So compassionate reasons. Start to imagine, like, they're a bully, they like to hurt people. I don't like to hurt people. Why would somebody be like that? Oh, maybe they had a terrible childhood. That's all they know is hurting people. They think that's normal. So you start to have compassion for why the other person would be like that. Now, next step, have compassion for yourself. Why was I with that person? Why did I think that was the person I had to be with? Why? It's like, oh, I'm with mean people when I'm trying to be a nice person. Did I have some things in my childhood that said the world runs on meanness? Why, did I have compassion for yourself? Come up with reasons for like why you were stuck in a world with those people that you don't belong with. And now the final step, you live your life again. You go back to living your life with a greater sense of your values and a greater sense of, I went through the process, now I'm more connected with my soul. My higher self is right here helping me with my values. I feel compassion for those people that I don't belong with. I feel compassion for the way I was. And I'm ready to live with my higher self with my values clearer than ever. This is the value separation exercise. You do those 7 steps and you will change. And you will not be stuck on fearing those people who are messing up your life and trying to think, oh my God, I have to change them, but I can't change them. No, you've changed yourself. And now you can just focus on being more of who you really are. You will feel the divine guidance. So those steps, really, really powerful, really important. It's changed my life, really has.